Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Microsoft Flight Simulator, and today we are back with the H-135 that for no apparent reason seems to be turning. That's Microsoft, I guarantee it. It wasn't doing that earlier. Anyway, so we are going to be taking a look at the latest update, version 0.93, but we're also going to be taking a look at how to set up and configure the EFB designed specifically for the H-135 by the Hype Group. Now, quick disclaimer. I have spoken with a developer and I cannot give out the link for the EFB. It says in their on their post on FlightSim.2, you must join their Discord in order to get the EFB link. If you have any trouble setting up Discord, guys, or don't understand what it is, please leave a comment down in the field below and I'll do my best to explain it. Discord is a very simple program. It's basically a chat program, but it's more for the gaming community. You can create your own server. It gives you access to speak to community members of that particular project, in this case the helicopter, as well as, share screenshots, do screen sharing, stream live feeds, etc., as well as voice chat. So it's a really robust piece of software. It's completely free of charge. There is, again, no charge to use it. You just create a user account, download the app, and then you can copy this link. As long as you have Discord open, copy this link, put it into a browser, hit enter, and it will ask you if you want to join the server, and then you'll see that server populate in your Discord window. Okay, but it's a very good software. I highly recommend it for anyone in the sim community because there's a lot of resources out there. Flybywire has their own Discord. Working Title has a Discord. Just to name a couple, the Project Megapack has their Discord. So it gives you access to speak to people that you probably wouldn't normally have channels to do so. Anyway, so that is the one disclaimer there. But assuming that you have, contacted them, you got the download link. It also comes with an installation guide. It is fairly straightforward, but as long as you're there, this is the video you want to watch to know what to do next. So let's get after it. All right, so stepping into the cockpit here, the first thing we're going to do is kick our co-pilot out. She didn't bring me breakfast, and that made me mad, so she has to leave. I'm just kidding. That sounded awful. First step is obviously to start up the helicopter, so let's do so. We're going to come up top. I'm going to make this a pretty quick startup. We're going to do master battery on, fuel tanks, prime 1 and 2, avionics systems are on, position lights, anti-collision light, and strobe light. We're going to step on back downstairs for a second and start spinning up engine number 2. While engine number 2 is in idle, let's talk about your EFB. So assuming that's a nice one. Assuming that you, again, have acquired the EFB download, this is what it's going to look like, is this guy right here. All you're going to do is run the executable, and it's going to extract it by default to the location that this file exists in, or this application exists. I have my own folder for MSFS 2020 applications. It's got all the applications that I use with Microsoft Flight Simulator. And I just created a folder called H-135, dropped that executable in here, ran it, and then it extracts the rest of this stuff. Okay, you have a quick start PDF for it, and then a docx as well. Now, once you're in it, you'll see this folder that says EFB Connect. You'll run that, and the first thing that we're going to want to do is actually come down here to the settings text. Okay, when you open that, you'll get a window that looks like this. Okay, minus this IP. I put this in here. And these are all the IP or web addresses that can be launched by default. Now, I'm going to take the YouTube one out. I won't be using YouTube for this. And I'm going to hit Control S, or you can go to File Save, however you want to do it, whatever's easier for you. But the skyvector.com is a big one. This is just a title. Okay, we can actually leave this out. You don't have to have that there. Okay. But you have Google Maps, SkyVector, and then this one I think is the one that you guys are going to really like, and I'll show you that in a minute. But any websites in particular that you like to use, You can add them here simply by typing in the full address as you see it here and then hitting save, and then you'll relaunch the application. And I'm going to show you that in just a second here. Okay, but these are the ones that I'm going to leave on for right now. I'm going to move this back off the screen here. Once that's up and running, we can launch this efbconnect.exe, or excuse me, once that's saved, you can launch this EFB Connect. Okay, so we're going to do that. This is the window that comes up. Now, the thing about this window is you want to make sure you do not minimize it. If you minimize it, it cannot be used. Now, what is okay is once it's up, like if you only have one monitor, that's fine. Leave this up and just simply click behind. It can stay behind. There's nothing wrong with that. Let's start engine 1 here. Okay. But you just don't want to minimize it. So I'm going to bring that back up here for a minute. And you can see that all of our IP addresses that we saw before, or our websites, are here on this home page. All right. And you can use this window to zoom in or out. You can go back or forward based on how you navigate through this. And I'll show you guys that, what I mean further in a little bit here. Let's go ahead and complete the startup of the aircraft, and then we'll be ready to get into this. Now, as that's in start, you can see my collective is actually lifted a little bit, so I always recommend before you turn your FADEC on, cycle your collectives and your cyclic, make sure that they're in the neutral position. And we're just waiting for, there we go. All right, so now engine 1 is also idle. We're going to turn our primers off. Standby battery to on. And I think we are good. We don't have to worry about the pitot heat yet because we're not taking off yet. We'll do that before we lift off. And then now we can flip us up into the FADEC position. All right, so the helicopter's ready to go. So now let's start talking about the EFB inside of the cockpit. All right, so stepping up into our MFD, we're going to go to the EFB page. And the first thing you get is you get some documentation that's already pre-existent with the aircraft. So for example, let's take a look at normal procedures. Now you can see here's our pre-flight and pre-start checklist that we'd want to walk through. And then we have the start checklist. Now to scroll down, you have the little knob and you have the big knob. So the little knob will allow us to scroll up. The big knob, if you just mouse over there, there we go, will allow you to scroll down. And actually it looks like it may just be the big knob doing both. You just have to have your mouse in the right position there. But you have your start checklist, all that good stuff, takeoff, etc. Okay? So that's the first thing, and you can do that with all the documentation. Then you can just simply hit the home button, go back to any of the documentation that you prefer to take a peek at. Okay? Really handy stuff. Really nice that they have that here. And then online data, this is going to be our browser information that we put in before. So we're going to hit connect. And let's start with SkyVector. Okay. Now, the other thing about this window is it's repeating everything you see here. Okay. Now you can see the last time I put KTUS as our departure. But let's see if we want to do a new flight plan. You'd want to do it from here. You can't type in this window. You can't use your keyboard. But what you can do is bring this one up. Type what you want to do. So we could do KTUS as our departure. Okay. I'm just going to hit enter. All right. So it takes us automatically to Tucson International. And then what you can do is you can zoom in or zoom out. You can also do a navigate, change that to scroll. And you should be able to scroll. Well, I guess that's not working with that. Huh. So we're not able to pan there, but what we can do again is here. And we can start adding locations if we wanted. So, I don't know. Let's just throw something down here. Right click there. Hit add to plan. Maybe we want to go over here. Oops. Oh, well, that works. Add to plan. And then add Phoenix as our destination. And add to plan. Okay, you can see it populates that. We can close that window now. Move this one off. And boom, we've got our flight plan. And we can go to zoom in. Okay, and we can now see our flight. Now, I would like to see... I'm going to check something here for a second. Oop, nope, that's going to move the cameras. All right, so that doesn't work. But again, we can take the screen from here. If you wanted that centered, you can sort of just do something like that. Okay. Now we can go back to the home page. Now here's the one I really want to show you guys. Oh, sorry, we won't do that. We want to go to change this back to where we see the back button. We're going to go back, and then if you go forward again, okay, it should bring up that same page. Now you're going to get that again, but I think, yep, you can click the X on that, which is good. Just a second here. Okay. And then what we can do next is go to the back button again. And this is the one I want to show you guys. This is probably my favorite part so far. Now, I want to keep you guys up to date here that I just installed the EFB today. So there may be some functionality even I haven't discovered yet. And it's also still in development. That's part of why the developers don't want me releasing the link. They want you to go to Discord because they want your feedback. They want to hear about any issues you're having. They want you to contact them if you're having a struggle point. They want you to tell them, hey, this is really cool, but XYZ is happening to me. Do you know anything about this, right? They want that feedback. They're really trying to make a good product here, which, you know, I applaud them for greatly. So the next one I want to show you guys, though, is under my applications, and there's definitely a link for this down in the description below. It's called Mobile Companion. And I want to tell you guys right off the bat that Mobile Companion gives you a ton of features on any kind of, you know, your iPad, a web browser on the same computer, your cell phone, doesn't matter. Anything that's connected to your local Wi-Fi. Okay, you can't use this remotely, at least not that I'm aware of, so you couldn't like go to the grocery store and be able to monitor this. That I'm aware of. I could be mistaken on that. I'm sure there's a way to set it up. But anyway, I digress. But even having a ton of buttons, switches, etc., like I do. I have the Thrustmaster Warthog. I have the Honeycomb products, both the yoke and the throttle. I have MFDs. I have all kinds of cool stuff. And this app still is an awesome app to have. I use it on almost every flight, especially as a content creator. I highly recommend it. I'm going to show you some reasons why. So this is going to be sort of a twofer. So all you do is you launch this. Okay, now for settings, the only thing that you would need to do in the settings is you need to change this directory here to make sure it matches your username, and then you hit save. Okay, and then you can launch the application. You can see this is the local IP address. Oh no, you're showing your IP address online without my public IP, you guys. It doesn't do anything, so don't be afraid to share that kind of thing. You need the public IP to do it. Now, if someone really has a weed up their backside, they could probably get your public IP, but anyone who's that bored, you know, needs a hobby. Anyway, so we're going to minimize this one. That one we can minimize, and I'm going to show you something really cool. So I added this IP address. This is the IP address that we use to connect to the Mobile Companion. I'm going to click on that. And voila, we have a map. If you create your flight plan with inside Microsoft Flight Simulator, meaning before you hit the fly button, right, on the world map, you can hit load flight plan, and the flight plan will actually display here on the screen. I never do it like that. I never create my flight plan inside the world map. I hate the way the world map works. I'm sorry. Call me negative. I don't know what you want me to say. I don't like it. But you can also change your satellite view. You can go to a dark theme. Okay. So some pretty cool stuff here. You can zoom in and out. Okay, and you can really get down there. Okay, like here's the airport layout. You could at least get a pretty good idea. You can go to options. This is one of my favorite parts about it, and use the sim rate. Let's zoom out a little bit. It's in a little tight for us. There we go. That's better. That's a good view. And the thing I like about this sim rate is it actually tells you what the current sim rate speed is. So it lets you know, if you need to adjust anything. Let's turn some of these down. I think the brightness works, right? Thought it did. Didn't the brightness work last time? Let's hit acknowledge here. Anyway, sorry, I got distracted. That was just super bright. And the brightness will help make some of this a bit more legible. If I can remember how to do it, but apparently I'm doing something wrong because I don't think it's changing. Anyway, you can also do an active pause. So right now, if we were flying, the aircraft would be stopped dead in its position, but yet you still get all the rotor animation and things like that. And then you just hit play to do it. You can go below normal sim rate if you need to, if you're trying to catch a specific thing. It has a bunch of default aircraft and default preloaded aircraft and preloaded avionics systems. There's the GNS 430, the 530, the 1000. A32NX, it's got its own profile specifically for the A320 by Flybywire, which is awesome. There's the P28 for the Piper Arrow with the different GPS navigations. There's the CRJ. So really cool piece of software. You have all of your nav radios, comm radios, autopilot panel, and again, you can zoom out. Okay, you have your lights panel. Okay, really awesome stuff that makes this app just phenomenal to have. I mean, think about it. You know, you're flying around. You know, the map is super handy. I wish that there was a way to integrate your flight plan with it without having to use the what's the word I'm looking for? Why can't I think about it? It's just not happening. Without having to use the world map. Gosh, I don't know why I brain farted right there. But really cool piece of software, guys. Really cool piece of software. Why is it saying there's a door open? Oh, there is a door open. Rear baggage is open. Interesting. So I highly recommend this. And this in conjunction and Hype Team, if you guys happen to see this video, I highly recommend you get in touch with this mobile companion app guy. Again, link down in the description below to his download. I think this would be a really awesome integration for this. At least some of the features. Maybe, you know, food for thought. Anyway, the other thing that I want to show you guys that I'm having a little bit of trouble with, I'm not going to lie, but I at least want to show you guys that it's there because, you know, experiences may vary. Now, I want a disclaimer here, guys, before I show you this next part. This product is in development, and it is completely free of charge. And it is being designed by people who are listening to the community and providing the feedback. So it's going to have bugs, it's going to have issues, but I want you guys to see where this thing is headed, okay? And this could be something specific to my system. It could have to do with my resolution, I don't know, but I just wanted to throw that disclaimer out before I show you this next part, okay? Alright, so the next thing that I wanted to show you guys that this app is capable of doing is we're going to bring up our app again, okay? And then this time, we're going to come over here. And you also have a setting that says prefer quality over speed. Let me click on that for a second. See if that really changed anything down here. You know what that is? If I can do that, it's the viewing angle. Maybe not. That's weird. It looks fine up here, so it's got to be the way it's repeating or something with the MFT panels. Anyway, sorry, disregard. So I'm going to uncheck that, but you have that option. And the next thing I'm going to do is go to Advanced, Screen Capture, and these are my different displays. I have 3 screens. Now, again, I want to remind you guys they're all 4K, so I don't know if this is causing part of the problem that you're about to see. But you can hit Screen Repeat. You can also crop it. Now, this is what I'm seeing. It's doing this weird flashing thing, okay? And even when I click in it, it continues to do so. And I know the data button is supposed to freeze the screen at its current location, so if there's a specific chart, that seems to work just fine. And then when you hit the data again, I think it updates. Okay, but for example, like here's what it's doing now, and then if I uncheck the data, well, it comes back, so that's good. So let's take a look at this for a second. And you can see it really does crop the image down, so that makes it a little difficult. So I don't know that, and right now what it's doing, it's repeating a web browser, so I don't know how effective that would be. But let's try something else. Maybe if I pull up a PDF, okay, I'm going to use a flight plan, just one that I made the other day. And I'm going to maximize it. There we go, that should work. Now this could be where it gets a little difficult. And I'm not sure what a good application for this would or would not be. But let's say I was entering in a flight route. So let's try this. So let's go back to data. And then let's freeze the data screen. Alright, so it's there. But the zoom functionality seems to be reduced. But if I zoom on the screen itself, so I'm actually clicked on my left monitor here and zooming in. And then if I hit data again to refresh it, Turn the data off. Yeah, so it's definitely repeating what I'm seeing. So I could do something like this, I think. Yeah, so now I can see the flight route, but I can't pan through it. So I'm going to say that the screen share portion of this, or the screen repeating, I guess is how you'd say it, is something that I question the feasibility of it in its current condition. Only because I can't, and I could be wrong, you know, but I can't see a whole lot of application for it in the way that it's currently functioning. Hopefully this is something that maybe can get, you know, addressed later on. I think they're on the right track. I think, and if you guys have a specific image on a screen that you want it to display, this could still be an extremely handy tool, right? And a lot of it, I think, is also the portrait dimensions and things like that that are causing some of the problem here for me. But that is something that I want you guys to be aware exists. Now, the only other drag that I've seen here is I can't seem to find a way to, once you start this, I think the only way to correct it is to close it and then relaunch, you know, the application. So I closed it. Now I'm going back to my folder, EFB Connect, and launching the executable again. So now it's coming up like this, and we're back to the main page. And now I can hit connect, and here we are. Okay. But anyway, guys, there is a app, for example. Let me try something else. I can show you guys something else that could be kind of cool. Let's see if I still have it on here. So applications. I don't think I got rid of it, did I? Oh, I did. There is a Sky Vector app, and I'll try to find it and put a link down in the description below. There is another app that uses Sky Vector, and I don't know how this would work with this. Would have to test it. But that basically does the same thing as Mobile Companion. All right, so without a lot of the other features, but you would have a moving map with your flight plan. You could draw your flight plan out, and then it would actually place your aircraft down on the application. So you'd be seeing your aircraft flying along in the browser in Sky Vector, if that's something that you guys are interested too. And I'll try to find that and put a link down in the description below. But anyway, that is basically my review thus far of the Hype EFB, and I'm loving it. I think it's absolutely fantastic. I think this is a wonderful piece of software, and you guys should definitely take the steps to get it, because I can see a ton more applications coming down the line where this is going to be really handy to have, especially anything that uses a dedicated website. Okay, whether it be local or otherwise, if it has a website, you can bring it up here. But for example, I will give you guys the heads up that I tried like Simbrief, not particularly feasible for this. But and you know what? Let me show you that one more time. Let's do that. Let's do one more test here. We'll take a look at Simbrief. Okay. So, and the reason why we're going to do Simbrief is I want you guys to be able to make the decision for yourself on whether or not it's something that you want in here. So let me grab the browser address, or the site address. And so here, I'll show you guys what I'm doing. So simbrief.home. Now this is not enough. Okay, do not just do this. Okay, and here's what I would recommend. I can tell you right now from my previous test, you want to definitely do all of your creation from your browser. So let's create a new flight. We're just going to pick something retarded. It doesn't matter. Oh wait. Well, here, like I said, it doesn't matter. And yeah, we'll just throw anything in there. Oh wait, I had Tucson there. Oops. Even though we're in Tucson, but. And I can almost guarantee there isn't going to be a helicopter in here, but we'll check. All right, so I'm not really worried about the airframe. What we're really after is the route, if we were wanting to fly an IFR flight in the helicopter. Okay. And so now I would just hit generate OFP. Okay. It wants something here. So let's say it's for the TBM. There we go. Now we should be good. And again, the only thing we would be interested in this particular set is the flight route itself. So you have this that comes up, okay? And what you want for the address, make sure you click in the field, click again. Okay, you need to click twice, and then it will bring up the full address. Okay. And if you wanted to, what we could do is this. Control C. I should be able to pull it up here. We're going to do that. And remember, Control S for save. And then now I'm going to launch the application. So now we're launching the EFB Connect. All right, and you can see there it is down here. And let's see if it's going to pull it. I don't know if it'll pull it from that particular menu, but we'll see. All right, so it wants you to log in. Now this you can do from here, and I'm going to show you. So just as you did before, let's do this. Let's get back down here so you guys can see the repeat. All right, so in the app window, don't try to type in here. You got to type over here, but you can type. And then we can go to My Flights. And you have a scroll bar down here. And you can hit load. Okay, and you can do... What am I looking for? What am I looking for? Generate OFB. And hit yes. And you could even zoom out from here. And you can see your flight route. There's the dock right there. Okay, so what you might be able to do is you can zoom in a little bit. Oh, hey, that works. So you can click the scroll bar, go in small increments. Okay, I didn't know that worked. Hold on a second. Let's try something else. I did not expect that to work. So let's do one more thing from our app. I'm going to try something a little different here. So you can obviously do it like that, but let's try the print preview. I don't know if this is going to work or not. It does. Interesting. So let me show you how to get around. I know you guys are like, well, you can't see anything. You're right. But I think I have a way around that too. So from here, you can zoom in. Actually, I think you can go full screen here. Oh, fit to screen at least. And let's just manipulate this so it's like that. Let's go. They'll all have those same borders, so once you set the margin, let's do one more, I think. I think that will work. And then you can come over here. So it's not perfect. I mean, I don't know how often you'd be using Simbrief here. But if you can open a PDF, yeah, see, that's too big. So let's go back one. So again, we'll click in here and just give that a tap out. There we go. But there you go. I mean, you guys see where I'm going with this. That's the big thing. You see where I'm going with it, right? And you can use this, the scroll. You just click time, because remember, it's repeating it. You're sending a signal here. It's being repeated to the app, and then the app is actually executing the command to scroll down in the browser. Okay? And you don't have to have the browser open. Okay? You don't have to have like Google or anything like that open. That's kind of cool. Anyway, so yeah, I'll let you guys be the judge on this. I highly recommend it, though. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Stay tuned for one coming right after this, where we're going to take a look at the I want to make sure I say it right. I always forget it right. The GTN 750. We're going to take a look at installing that into the aircraft as well, and then doing a quick review of that. That will be a first-time experience use, as I have never used the 750 before. Don't know really anything about it. So we're going to be poking around, exploring it, but I'm going to show you guys how to get it installed into the H-135. All right, guys. I hope you've enjoyed this, and I'll see you in the next one.